And we are live. It's on the Parapalooza channel. Not on our channel yet. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If y'all would, please share this out. Let everybody know we're on with Michigander Man. We're going to be talking to him about the series that he does on his channel, the Celebrity Gravesites, which I find very interesting. So do you want to tell everybody just a little bit about your channel real quick?
It's basically a variety channel. I do a variety of everything from paranormal to historical places to you name it. Collaborations. I've collaborated with some amazing people, including What the Paranormal.
Yes.
My buddy, my friend, the traveling buddy, him and I do a lot of stuff. We traveled around Michigan. I've been to Indiana. I'm trying to travel to different states and stuff like that. So whatever I find interesting, I do. I also do some urbex stuff. Like I've been to some very cool places. So
that's awesome.
Abandoned places.
So what got you started? Like, what was your very first celebrity gravesite, and is that what carried this on for as long as it has?
My first celebrity gravesite was actually Dick York, and I didn't know he was buried in my hometown until a few years ago. And if you guys don't know who that is, he was the actual first Darren from Bewitched, the original Darren. And there's a big story on him. If you guys check out my channel, I tell a lot about his history and things like that. And
that's one thing I love about your celebrity gravesites is the history that you put in with it, because you really do go deep into the history of these people and everything. And so I love that about the series. So did go into that gravesite, you just say, hey, I love doing these and I want to continue doing them? Or
no, I was actually I wasn't planning to make no series or anything. I did his, and I didn't think there was any other celebrity graves near me, but then I started researching. But it took a couple years to do that, and his was the only one I did for the longest time. And just a few years went by, and I'm like, hey, I want to try something new. And I was already doing the paranormal stuff and history stuff, so I'm like, hey, let's see what happens and try to find celebrity grave sites. And Vern Troyer passed away, and I'm actually met Vern Troyer before he passed and found out he was from Western Michigan area. So, and I seen another person do a video on him, and I watched it, and I'm like, I hate to say it, but it was horrible.
Yeah.
It didn't. I'm like, he didn't. He said, yeah, this is where you find Vern Troyer. This is where he's buried at, and blah blah blah. It's like a 4-minute video. It didn't go into depth about his story of him or anything, and didn't show the do a like thumbnails are really important, I think.
Yeah.
And he just showed a thumbnail of a piece of grass. It wasn't even his headstone or nothing. I'm like, so I'm like, and it got 4,000 views on it, but I'm like, I'm gonna go there, and this is how I'd want to, see if I were gonna go find a celebrity great, I would want to know some stuff about this person.
Right.
So that's why I started getting into the history, and it's pretty neat the things I found out. But now that video is almost to 18,000 views.
Yes, a lot of people love Vern Troyer, and as soon as you posted that video, I knew that was going to be a great one, because not just because it's Vern Troyer, but you did a really good job with that video, given his history and everything. And you're so respectful at the grave sites. That's another thing that I love about it. Yes, it's a celebrity graveside. Yes, people are going to go and visit these places a lot, but you do show at least you show respect, and you tell a lot about the person too, not just, oh, hey, look, I'm at the gravesite, let me do an investigation. You do history, you do facts about them, and you're always respectful when you're there.
I get the comments too, like the negative comments and stuff, but
we're on YouTube. That's to be expected.
Yep.
So what has been your favorite, or I guess not your favorite, that's probably the wrong choice of words, but what has been the gravesite that you were the most excited to go to and see? Like, it was there a favorite person of yours, a favorite actor?
Not really, not my favorite yet, but it's just exciting to go to these, people that probably in real life I would have never been able to get anywhere near,
right,
or close to, or anything. Like Vern Troyer was definitely exciting and it was kind of sad for me too, because like I said, I met him and I got to talk to him, and he really, really, really loved his fans, and he was such a sweet person. And there's a lot of stories about Vern Troyer, but that's my next one would have been Regis Philbin.
Yes.
And we went to South Bend, Indiana, which is about an hour and a half away from me, and got to see where he was buried at in a beautiful, beautiful cemetery. He's actually buried on the campus of Notre Dame. So,
wow.
And there's a few more. There's a lot more that I'm going to go find. It just takes time and money to do it.
So you didn't realize like how many actually, celebrities, and you have A-list and B-list that you actually have to. But it's crazy to find out who all is buried around you, and you may not even.
There's actually more celebrities that are buried near me that I'm going to be doing videos on. There's like some, like, are there unknown celebrities. They didn't mean to be a celebrity, but they became a celebrity because of the legend of their legend. Like Jonathan Walker, the man with the branded hand. I did a video on him because he saved 7 slaves in the 1800s.
Wow.
And he was considered a slave trader or something like that. They branded his hand with SS on his hand. And slave stealer, that's what it was, slave stealer. I have also been to the Kellogg grave, W.K. Kellogg, that founded the Kellogg Company. I've been to Post grave. I've been to Sojourner Truth, one of the most famous slaves. I've been to her gravesite.
Now that one was awesome because you went to the gravesite as well, but you also went through and did like the museum and stuff. Was that the one that you did before that and got a tour? Almost a personal tour, because they took you around and showed you everything and told you a lot of history. That one I thought was really, really cool.
I wasn't expecting that, and the lady was so nice. That was awesome. I mean, that video, I was expecting it to get more views than it did, but it didn't. But it was still fun doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely, the history on them, I think, is a lot of people's favorite part of those videos. And some of the celebrities that you did, I didn't even know by name. As soon as I seeing the picture or started hearing the story, then I was like, oh, that's, who that is. But so what do you feel like you get out of going to the celebrity gravesites?
Learning things I didn't know about, and it's fun just going there and seeing it in person, and knowing that somebody's going to watch this video that's not able to come to see their graves and stuff for whatever reason, where they live at, or physically they can't go there or something, and I get pleasure out of that. I'm helping people in different ways.
I like that because a lot of people don't realize how much other people depend on the videos to go places that they are not going to be able to go to. So that definitely does. I like that. That's nice.
One of the other ones I was really excited to go to. I kind of went to the grave, but it turned out pretty bad. But it was Hannibal from A-Team. Went to his grave and was able to get in there, but then we had a bad experience because of a groundskeeper there. But
yes,
that was pretty awesome.
Do you find that a lot that they're very, and I know cemeteries are, you can go into a cemetery, they're public property, but have you had a lot of issues with them being protective over the celebrity grave sites, or?
No, just that one. I don't know what happened with that, but I still was able to get a video out of it, but not the way I wanted it to. But it still got over 1,000 views on it. So
yeah. And so, do you plan on trying to go back to that one?
Eventually, yeah. I definitely.
Yeah, I do remember you had so much trouble with that one caretaker, and
yeah. I didn't want to give them names, but I'm definitely going to go back there. But there's a lot more celebrities that I want to go find.
Yeah,
I got one awesome one coming up. Hopefully, when we head down to Texas, that I've been told about, and I'm excited about going to see that one. So,
yeah, you go Laurel Land. Yeah, he's not going to be anywhere near Laurel Land. Stevie Ray Vaughan. Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan is actually buried right next to my grandmother. My mama's right there, and then he's right next to her. And that place, there's guitar picks and just like, what is the craziest thing that you have found or seen that somebody has left a celebrity?
Ew, that would probably the magic cemetery, where we went to the magician cemetery where Harry Blackwell Jr. and Sr. and all the magicians are buried at. Somebody just left like little trinkets, like a what was it, like a little magic pin and stuff. Nothing too weird, but that was a cool cemetery too. But a lot of magicians are buried there, and that was a hard one to do.
Yeah. Jan said the service dog soldier was very heart touching. She cried.
Yeah, I loved that one. That was one of my favorites.
Now, what is do you feel stuff when you're at these places, or have you gotten any like really good EVPs or anything from any of them that?
No, not really. When I go to see the celebrities, I feel like I don't really do paranormal investigations there when I'm visiting them, because I'm there to tell their story, and I don't. I mean, to me, I don't want to be disrespectful to them and do a session or nothing like that. But
right. So you're if you do happen to get something, it's just because of it just happened.
It just happens, yeah.
Yeah.
It always happens with me.
Yeah, which I respect that, because you do want to be able to give their story and everything and show their grave sites without being disrespectful. So yeah, I understand.
And one of the cool celebrity grave sites I gotta remember was I went to the Gerber grave site where Dan Gerber is buried, and a lot of people are, who is that? Well, if you have children, you would know who he is, because the Gerber baby.
Yep.
And I didn't do a perfect job on that one because he's not actually buried there. He's like I think he was cremated, but they have a headstone and stuff there. But I was contacted by his granddaughter. She left me a message and contacted me, and I'm supposed to be interviewing her hopefully sometime this spring and stuff. But that was a pretty exciting thing to be contacted by the Gerber family.
Yeah. And that was going to be my next question, actually, was have you ever met any of the family of the people that you've shown, or have they contacted you? And that's because I did know that the Gerber baby video you did get contacted on. So that's very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So
do you have I know you said you got a couple of favorites, but are there any of them that were like, I don't know, I guess that you got more emotional at than the rest? I know you feel stuff when you're around them and everything, but was there any that were just like emotional?
Probably the Dick York one, the first time I did it, because I know what happened with him. He, his story, but when he passed away, he died poor. He wasn't rich when he died. He lost everything, but I got kind of emotional around that one when I first did it, and I wanted to redo it because I felt bad, because the first time I did the video, I didn't realize that his mother-in-law was buried next to him. His wife was buried further down, and I kind of messed up that and told people that was his wife when it wasn't. But I fixed all that with the video I did recently on him.
Right. And mistakes happen. I mean, that does happen. So so the paranormal, or the not paranormal, but the celebrity gravesites, is that going to be a continued thing on your channel, or do you think,
Oh yeah, I got a lot more coming up, and I got some graves that I'm getting involved with that are not necessarily celebrities, but there's like they're famous for other reasons. There's a child one that I'm going to be working on. This little girl, she's famous for some other reason. I want to get too into that, and then there's there's other ones. There's this person that made something that we all see every single day, and a lot of people probably don't realize this person made this, and we see it every single day. And that's going to be a pretty neat one to do. And there's also like some circus celebrities I'm going to be working on eventually, and then some famous wrestler gravesites, and one of the ones I want to really get to. I don't know when or where I'm going to get to it, but I want to go visit James Dean's grave in his hometown.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I'm trying to figure that one out, because we got the Texas trip coming up, and I know he's from Indiana, Fairmont, Indiana, and it's about 4 hours away from me.
Yeah. Twinkie says, "Woo woo, Brady brother with the broken halo." Okay, Tid Halo.
And then I'm really a big fan. Well, yeah, I'm a fan of Al Capone. I love stuff about Al Capone, and I want to go to Chicago to visit Sean and Bat Rican, of course, and then go to Al Capone's gravesite, and a bunch of celebrity gravesites there.
Well, you have had many encounters with the whole Al Capone thing, so it would be definitely interesting to see you at the gravesite. Hello, Bat Rican. Hello, everyone that's coming in. Everyone that, if you do not have Michigander Man, his link is down in the description of this live stream. So make sure you go and butter his buns, as we all say. If you
What's
are
up, everybody?
new to me, I I'm Amy with What the Paranormal, and that's what we say. We say butter your buns because it sounds funner.
You gotta use parquet because I have sensitive buns.
He does have sensitive buns, so use parquet.
I break out poppy seeds.
So, what is something you want people to know, like when they go and visit celebrity gravesites or any gravesite for that matter? But is there something that you want people to
show them respect?
Yes.
Be respectful. Don't take anything. Don't break their headstone or chip off their headstone or anything like that. Just be there to show your respects and show your appreciation for what they've done or the movies they've made or if they've made you smile or anything like that. Just be respectful.
Exactly.
They deserve that. They definitely deserve respect.
Exactly.
And I'll try to bring stuff like flowers or something if I'm able to. And
you're answering my questions before I even get to ask them. That's one of them as well. What is something that you like to leave for? I know, but a lot of people leave coins and stuff like that just to show respect and show that they've been there. But yeah,
I will leave like a few cents, and people say, "What's that about?" It's just a sign of respect, and I did that with. I try to do that with most of the graves, and then there's. You mentioned a sad grave that I got kind of emotional at, and I forgot to mention it was Benny that I went to see his grave, and he was actually the baseball player, and I can't Benny McCoy. He was actually the oldest baseball player of the Detroit Tigers. He lived to be 96, and nobody. It's sad because nobody recognized him and didn't know who he was, and I didn't get a lot of views on that. I think I got less than 100 views, but it was still awesome that he was buried in my hometown. I wish I would have met him in real life, but he had a big story, and people were like, "Well, I didn't know who this was. I've never knew who that was," and I'm like, "That's why I do it too." So, because some of these people, they don't know who these people are. So,
yeah, and I find it very interesting, even for the ones that I don't know, because you do give such a good backstory on them. By the end of the video, I do know who they are, and that just makes it even better.
And I was really shocked and disappointed at the one of the videos I did. I was really shocked that a lot of people, like when I did the video on Sojourner Truth, they're like, "Who's that?" I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" It's kind of sad because she's one of the most famous slaves ever. I mean, and a lot of people, I didn't know who she was, and I'm like, wow. But a lot of people now, they know who she is. And
yep, and that's awesome. Hello, Troy.
What's up, Troy?
If you guys have any questions, make sure you put them in all caps, so I can ask Rob for you. And I just had a question on my brain, and I just let it go poof. And it was a good. When you go to these gravesites, celebrity gravesites, have you found any of them that have been damaged or like graffiti or anything like that have been?
Not graffitied, but a little bit damaged. It looks like some people chipped away some of the headstone and stuff.
And I think that's pretty sad because, and I know a lot of the places like the Stevie Ray Vaughan gravesite, they were going to end up moving him to the center part of the cemetery inside of the fenced in area because so many people were like taking stuff from his grave and stuff like that. And that's just so disrespectful. But
I got a message from Frank Gerber's granddaughter, and she's like, "You were so respectful at my grandfather's grave." I said, "I'm just there to show my respects. I'm not there to disrespect it or take anything." And she thought that was awesome that I did that. I said,
That's very cool that she even took the time to message you. I mean, so you must have made some kind of an impression on them. So Nubsy wants to know, outside of the USA, is there any celebrity grave sites that you would love to visit one day?
I would love to go see the Bee Gees grave. I can't think of his name. Robin Gibb.
Yeah,
I would love to
that
go
would be
see
very
his
cool.
gravesite.
And where is he buried at?
He's there in England.
England.
Yep. I think he's in England, and there's so many. I mean, I can't name just one of the ones I would really get most excited about is going to see James Dean's grave, even though it's been visited by many people. But Michael Jackson, I've been to his childhood home and stuff, but Elvis, of course, I would love to go see Elvis's gravesite.
Yeah. Oh Lord, Cody.
What do you say?
He said, "Thank you very much." I know there's quite a few around here that we've been wanting to get to, and I think you have opened that up for a lot of people. Is they didn't realize, hey, there's celebrity grave sites that you could go visit, and
free. They're free.
So, yep,
Buddy's been doing it. I mean,
yeah, that is awesome. I know we went to Lane Frost's grave and to a circus cemetery as well, and that was very interesting.
That was cool.
I was actually really shocked when we got there of how that, not only are they such a close community while they're in the circus, but they are also in death. They are just, they have their own little sections, and and they're all still very close there too. So Jenny wants to know, what was one of your most favorite videos that you've done? So I'm not talking, I guess that's just any videos.
Probably paranormal wise would be the haunted mill that we captured a ton of activity there with Bat Rican, and we got scared the crap out of us by the kid spirits, and that was epic. There was so much activity. I caught so many EVPs, and we got a lot of evidence.
Yeah, y'all definitely did.
Seen that, you gotta go watch it.
Few jump scares in there.
Oh yeah,
but it was also very, very cool to see.
Cool to see, and the certain incident that happened there, it happened to another group there while we were there, and we tried to debunk it, and we could not.
Yeah, that was definitely really cool. I do know what you're talking about, and it was very cool.
And it's kind of like everybody's like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't go there where it's haunted," and that happened to me. But yeah, it happened to us. But then we got scared. But then it was like an adrenaline rush, and we wanted more.
Exactly. Oh wow, Jenny said that Lucille Ball grave is near her.
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be amazing. That would definitely be amazing. Let's see. Guys, make sure you are clicking that link in the description and going and showing Michigander Man some love. Also, make sure that you're showing some love to this channel as well. If you have not,
3,100.
That's awesome. I was one who didn't know who she was. Oh, Jenny's telling herself. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I would definitely love to see Lucille Ball's grave. That would be something amazing.
There's a lot of celebrities that I want to go see there in the Detroit area, like Aretha Franklin, Rosa Parks, and
oh wow,
they're all buried in Detroit, but that would take a lot of time because they're all buried in one cemetery, and it's a huge cemetery.
Oh, yeah, that would be very cool though to see all that. That would be a weekend trip.
another cool one I forgot about was when I went to see Henry Ford's.
Yes.
And
yeah, that was very cool.
You can just walk right in and visit the whole family. They have their own cemetery.
Yeah, that is awesome. I've actually we've been to one place like that, but of course, and that was when we went to Loretta Lynn's ranch. Right as you first go into the whole place, there's a big open cemetery right there, and it's all their family right there. The only one that's not buried there was Doolittle, and he's actually buried on a plot by the house. You couldn't get to that one, but the rest of the family was all, right there. You could walk around and pay your respects and stuff. So I thought that was really cool.
That's neat.
Let's see.
I like that rest of the covered house.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. Do a lot of these places, like I know a couple of the places that you've went to, the gravesites, they've had like little museums or something there or were they near the place?
What's that? I didn't hear
like
that.
The ones that you do go to that have like the museums and stuff, are they the museums right there by the gravesite, or are they like you have to go to the museum and then go off somewhere else?
Yeah, some of those are not near where they're buried at. So I had to travel a little bit, but I have not been to Henry Ford has his own museum. It's called the Henry Ford Museum. The village. I've not been there yet, but
yeah,
he started that. But now you have to get an appointment to go see it. And he's actually got Thomas Edison's workshop and his original workshop and a bunch of buildings that he saved. And actually, the thing about it, we stayed at the building he saved was actually the haunted mill, and he does haunt that mill. That was his mill that we were at.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, Henry Ford saved that mill, otherwise it was going to be torn down. So he was a huge history buff.
Oh well, that's cool. I
did not love to met him in person.
Yeah. Well, Debbie's got a good question now then for you. If you could interview someone living or dead, who would you like to interview?
Wow. I would have to maybe Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good one. I would love to know what happened in that theater.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I feel like I felt a connection with him sort of because I've seen some history of him, but I would actually love to go where he's buried at too, where he's at. And I've, seen the final stage, the coach that he rode into the theater and some of his boyhood items and stuff. And another one I would have to say I almost forgot about was the Titanic Survivor that I went to the grave of.
Yeah, that's that one was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the story alone, but and you hear this story, you see the movie, everything, but then you kind of actually brought it to life, and it was like, wow, that it happened. But then when you see the actual grave sites and you hear her story, and everything else, it's like, wow, that actually happened.
It actually happened, and she survived the Titanic, and how she passed away was crazy.
Yeah, that was definitely a good one.
That was a local one too, and I did not expect to find a Titanic survivor about an hour away from me. So.
Right. Let's see. Make sure nobody's got no questions over here. So during the history of, like, when you research these places, like, is there anything that was like a wow moment, like something that shocked you, or I'm trying to explain my question a little bit better, but like something that just was something you were just didn't know completely about somebody.
Probably the Titanic Survivor.
Yeah, that one.
I
That
don't
was
know a lot about her at all. Just her name until I read the history of her, what she went through, and not only did she survive the Titanic, she survived the Great Earthquake, and there's these people were real people at one time, and they have a story, you know.
Yeah, and it's some of them are so sad, like what they went through and everything, and it's
probably actually I think of the emotional one. I got kind of emotional when it was not necessarily a celebrity gravesite, but it was the world's worst school disaster.
Oh yeah, that
yes,
that one.
We went there and seen the kids' graves. I got really emotional with that.
That one I think was emotional for everybody. Anybody that watched that, I'm sure it was emotional. It was for me anyway.
Yeah, that was sad.
You want to explain that a little bit and just kind of tell people a little bit of the history of that?
The Bath school disaster was the worst school disaster in U.S. history, and it was a disgruntled worker that was not happy with whatever the taxes being raised and things, and he kind of went crazy, and he blew up his house, killed his wife, and he took his anger out on the school, and he killed a bunch of children at the Bath school, blew up half the school, killed half the children, killed himself, and killed some teachers, blew his truck up, and there were survivors of it, but not very many. Luckily, all the dynamite did not go off, so only half the school blew up. But the disaster was overshadowed by Lindbergh's flight, when Lindbergh took off and went around the world, and so it kind of got overshadowed by that. But they end up turning the school, where it's actually something pleasant, a park, but there's still bits and pieces of the school, like the foundation and the cupola is still there that they have in the park. So there's a lot of energy there still.
Right. And I've seen you go there a couple of times, and each time it's heartbreaking.
I went there by myself once, and I went with Buddy, and then I went with Lakeshore Paranormal, and that's when we did an investigation and stuff. And
yeah,
it's always emotional. It's always very deep and very sad area. Even though it's nice that they turned it into a park to make it more pleasant.
Yeah.
But to get rid of the bad history that happened there. So
yeah, and then you can put flowers and paint, on certain things, but whatever's there is still there. I mean, I'm sure that was a lot of, and even though it was children, I'm sure there's still a lot of bad energy there from. So Nub said that they had to do a report on that when he was in school.
That's cool. I mean, I'm glad some people are remembering it, and that it's not forgotten about, because it definitely deserves to not be forgotten about. It's not like a lot of people think Columbine and the other school disasters happened first, but no, Bath was the very first one.
Yeah. Yep. And that back then, you just didn't hear about stuff like that happening. No. It just happened, and that was just crazy. And so many kids lost their lives.
The sad part is, like, I don't want to think about it too much, because I'll get emotional. But think about you're kissing your mom and dad goodbye, going to school, and not coming back home.
Right. You're innocent, and you don't know anything about that. It definitely wasn't the kid's fault. Debbie wants to know, have you ever thought about just picking what looks like an interesting gravesite and researching it and then telling their story?
Yeah, I'm working on some of those right now.
Okay.
One of them is not a celebrity gravesite, but it's a very sad story, and it was like told, this girl's story was told. It was made public and stuff, how she passed away, but I don't want to give too much away. So
yeah. Jenny wants to know, do you have to get permission from the families to film at the gravesites?
I haven't, and it's hard to get a hold of the families and stuff. So, I haven't had no issues with that.
Right.
But I'm really respectful, like I did, with the, the gravesite of Gerber. I didn't expect to get contacted, but I'm very respectful when I go to these graves. And then, so she enjoyed that. I was really respectful. And
yeah, that's one of my biggest deals is I always go into a place as these are my family members and how I would want somebody coming talking to one of my family members. So you definitely have to be respectful of that. So in case family members or somebody else does happen to see it, they're not offended by it or get hurt by it. So that's definitely a good thing that you go into it with that mindset.
Another celebrity gravesite, a lot of people didn't know who he was Bobby Debar, Robert Debarge.
Mm-hmm.
And like, who's that? If you guys ever had heard the song on Short Circuit, Who is Johnny, and Rhythm of the Night.
Yep.
That's Bobby Debarge.
Mm-hmm.
And I've tried to contact his sister, but she's never reached out to me. But I sent her the link to the video. I don't know if she's watched it, but that video's got like almost 200 views on it. And I was really respectful when I visited him. And I want to go back and bring him flowers and stuff because his grave does not get visited by anybody.
Right. And that's sad that, a lot of them aren't as well known. So it's good that you're bringing light to some of these people that don't always get, people coming and visiting and stuff like that. So I'm sure they're looking down and appreciative of it too. So,
well, there's like, I don't want to give out names or anything, but there's certain YouTubers that do celebrity gravesite stuff. And there's this one YouTuber that said, "Hey, I'm going to be in the Michigan area. Do you know any celebrity grave sites?" And I mentioned Bobby the Barge, and I mentioned this other one, and his response to me was, "Well, he's not famous enough for me to go see." And I'm like, "What the? Are you serious? Like, what?"
Yeah, they're for the names and that's it. So yeah.
Yeah, he's in it for the moolah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I said, well, I'm not. I unsubscribed. I'm like, no, you ain't worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do want to be like when you're going to these places, you're not just going to them for a video. You go to them to actually pay your respects and stuff like that. So yeah, you got to think of it that way too, not just.
Yeah, I feel like when I go see these people, and I feel like after I leave, I kind of know them personally a little bit in some way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have you got any bad feelings at any of these grave sites that you've gone to?
No, none. All just positive vibes.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. I've actually, not. I don't know if you would consider him a celebrity, but like one of the cemeteries I went with, Allie. We went to this cemetery, and it was the not Amish, but a Quaker cemetery,
Mhm.
and there's actual sort of a celebrity that's buried there that was actually part of George Washington's group, and I didn't know anything about that. And there he's buried there at the Quaker cemetery, and I'm like, wow, that was really interesting because I never expected to see that.
Right. And it's weird. Like I can look at some of the places here, and I've had posted videos where I've like one where we went to the witch's grave, and I had somebody comment, "You didn't even realize there's like 4 famous people buried in that same cemetery."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "No, I did not." Honestly, I had no clue.
Yeah, so now when I go to cemeteries or I'm driving by one, I'll kind of like stop and I'll look up, find the grave, and I'll look up the cemetery to see if there's anybody famous there.
Yeah.
That's what I did with Benny's grave. When I'm like, just for the heck of it, I'm gonna stop at this cemetery. I drive by all the time, see if there's somebody famous, and found him there. I didn't know he was even buried there.
Yeah. So is that how you research them? You just type in this. So how do you know, like, especially these celebrities that aren't as famous, does it pop up that they were part of, you know, a certain thing, or do you have to actually look up their names?
Sometimes I go to find a grave and I'll look up a cemetery, and sometimes the cemetery will list all the people that are famous that are buried there.
Oh, wow.
So there's lots of ways of finding them. I just look that up, or I look up certain TV shows and movies, and look up their names and see if they're passed away. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of research that goes into
Oh,
doing
yeah.
it.
Definitely. You can definitely tell that there's a lot of research that goes into your videos.
It sometimes takes me almost a month to put a video together sometimes.
Yeah. But that's what sets you apart from a lot of the people that do celebrity gravesites. They don't do backstories or history or anything like that. So you do have a good thing going there, and you do set yourself apart from a lot of the rest of them. Does anyone have any questions for Rob? Michigander Man?
Right now I got 3 videos in the works, not celebrity grave sites, but 3 awesome videos, and I cannot wait to get them out. But
That's awesome. I know the thumbnail you shared. I'm excited to see that video.
oh yes.
Let's see.
And I'm shocked. My recent video I did on James Earl Jones is actually taken off, and it's got over 300 views right now. So I'm happy about that.
That's a pretty famous name there, and I was impressed whenever I seen that come up. I was like, oh yay. Jared wants to know, how did you get to be so awesome?
I'm just me. That's it. I don't know if I'm awesome.
He's a brat. No.
Yeah.
Let me make sure there's no more questions. Yeah, we all remember 9/11, Mariah. That's a date I don't think anyone will ever forget.
Yeah.
Let's see. Make sure y'all grab those links. Debbie says, Rob, keep doing what you're doing. You are doing fantastic.
There's a lot of celebrities I want to go find. It's gonna take a lot of time, and a lot like further the celebrity is from me, and I'm like, oh, that's gonna take some planning to do,
Yeah.
and time and money. And
Yes.
Chicago's got a lot of celebrities I want to go to. And
now, have you thought about, like, because I know Chicago and stuff was like real big with like the mob and stuff like that. Have you ever thought about doing any of that kind of stuff, like the gangster gravesites and stuff like that?
Yeah, the gangster gravesites, Bozo the Clown's grave, and Cookie, I want to go visit their grave. There's a child that is buried there that he would, I don't want to get too much detail, but he had something to do with starting the civil rights movement. He's buried there. There's a bunch of singers I want to go visit. There's a actor that was actually in Boys in the Hood. He's buried in the same cemetery as that child that I was talking about. I want to go to that cemetery and visit their graves, and that's probably going to take more than a day, but
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
there's
That's
celebrities
a very
everywhere.
good lineup, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jared said, Rob, one day I would like to see you do a celebrity grave video on Bon Scott. Oh, that would be amazing. ACDC, yes.
Oh yeah, Bon Scott would be awesome. I actually met Bon Scott, so or not Bon Scott. I met
Brian Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Yes.
Yeah. Now they're from Australia. Is he buried in Australia or is he buried here in the United States?
I think Bon Scott is in Australia.
Well, then we all need to go to Australia.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be very cool. And I agree, like, even though you may not have known them in life, going and visiting them at their gravesites and stuff, it still would be like you're there talking to them.
The comments I always get about Regis Philbin's grave, they're like, oh, wow, I thought he'd want to have a better headstone than what he got. He just got a plain cross with his name on it, but that's just how the Notre Dame, they do, that cemetery, because
Right.
it's, Catholic. So, and I think he is going to have another headstone, but that's just a tradition. Because there's like there's other celebrities that are going to be buried there too, and
Yeah.
so.
And just because they were celebrities doesn't mean they were fancy schmancy and had to have like a 4-karat gold headstone. That's just not how a lot of people are.
He didn't. When Regis was one of the most down to earth people you could meet. They said he was so down to earth, and kind and loved everybody, and that's just how he was. He just wants something simple.
Exactly.
That was one of my favorite videos to put together. The learning, from when he started and celebrity, doing Millionaire, and that was a fun video to put together.
Yeah. And that was actually really cool to see him up there as well. Well, Rob, I want to thank you for coming up and spending this time with us and letting us pick your brain about your celebrity gravesite series. And guys, make sure you check out the link that's in the description.
Yes.
That'll take you to his channel. Make sure you go and show him some love and support. And don't forget, we'll be back up here in just a few minutes. And up next, we have Adventure with Nubs. We're going to talk about some of his paranormal experiences and some of his cryptic experiences. So make sure you join us for that one. Go grab you some drink, go to the powder room, and we will see you here in a few. Thanks, guys.